Do you often suffer from loss of appetite, nausea, or weakness in bones? Probably you aren't taking this nutrition-safe, healthy diet. Yudayan nga, we are the Good Seven, and we are going to talk about minerals. Now, sa ating body, we have minerals. Dili katong lago and dili katong lalot, but small amounts of elements or minerals called trace elements. Ang sa ating body, there is, according sa nutrition, ay 21 kabuok na present na minerals sa ating body. But for further analysis, more than 25 daw ang present na minerals sa body. And in this topic, we are going to categorize the minerals into 3 groups. First, ang major group, major mineral, trace elements, trace minerals, and other trace element minerals. Now, under sa major minerals is we have the calcium. Ang calcium, it has a 1.5% to 2.5% na nakastore sa ating body. Ang 99% ana is naa sa bones and teeth, and ang remaining 1% is naa sa atong soft tissues and fluids. Now, ang minerals, it has so many functions. One of which ana is katulingan nako, which is ang bones and teeth. Sibali, ang calcium is nagaproduce ng calcium phosphate para ma-harden na atong bones at atong teeth. Ang calcium set, it has a function, nag-function po siya in membrane transport, in the nerve and cardiac regulation, pati sa blood clotting, in which ang calcium nag-act as an active glue para mabind ang protein sa negatively charged platelets. Then, to consume the calcium, we have these factors to optimize the calcium absorption. Una is ang physiologic needs. Daghan tag-absorb na calcium during sa lactation, sa atong growth, and also pati po sa pregnancy. According sa WHO and Food and Agricultural Organization United Nations or FOA, na ay 1,200 mg per day na ginatake na calcium para sa mga pregnant babies. Then we also have the use of vitamin D para sa absorption. Then factor set ang acidic and gastric pH. Meaning the lower the gastric acid is, the more na maka-absorb of calcium. Pero if alkaline medium na siya or hypochlorhydria, dili siya maka-absorb, gina-prevent niya absorb kay gina-precipitate or insoluble na insoluble or gina-precipitate ang minerals. Then also sa apil po ang specific amino acids na help na siya para matapangan o absorb ang calcium, like mga arginine, the lysine, and the serine, and also propiolactose and phosphorus that help to absorb the calcium. Then if na ay factors that optimizes the absorption of calcium, na ay factors na nag-hinder sa absorption sa calcium. One of which is ang age. The more na matigulang ka, the more na less ang pag-absorb na sa calcium. Kapag is ang oxalic acid o ang phytic acid. Kana sila duwa ang oxalic o ang phytic acid. Ginatawag na sila as anti-nutrients, which is nag-attach na sila sa mga minerals, nutrients, tapos gina-prevent nila absorption. Ang oxalic acid usually ma-found sa dark leafy vegetables, halibati, and then ang phytic naman is usually found sa outer layer of seeds, wheat, and also it is most common in cereals, which is a cereal na siya enzyme called phytase. Phytase is split na siya sa phytic acid o calcium. Then we also have the excess dietary fats and GI motility. Ang alang GI motility is muna sa ang relaxation and contraction sa muscles sa ato ang diabetes and mga laxatives. And then, atong po na maka-less or maka-prevent of absorption sa itong body is ang atong lifestyle. So, if you lack in exercise, if there is a stress in mental and emotional, then, the alcohol and the caffeine intake, maka-prevent na siya, or makalas na siya sa absorption sa calcium. Then, How do we find calcium? We can find, we can see, or we can eat calcium dari sa food sources. Sila ang localized sa seafoods and other sources, pati sa mga dairy products and also plant-based foods such as malunggay, sabuyot, o seaweed. And now, proceeding to sa last is the effects of calcium if kulangan ang pagkuha o sobraan na pag-intake sa calcium. If you lack calcium, if you lack calcium na nagpata pa ka, it can affect your growth and also your bones. Ibali if kulangan ng imong calcium, lisod ang growth nimo o can affect, makakause siya na maka-weak sa imong bones. But this says adults, if weak ang imong bones, tawagan is osteomalacia. Lahi na siya sa osteoporosis that we know. Sa osteoporosis is brittle or tining sa bones, tapos sa osteomalacia is weakness ng bones. Then lastly, we have the tetany. Ang kanang tetany is muna siyang muscle spasm or ang involuntary contraction sa ato ang muscles. Muna siya ang underlying clinical symptoms which has a major cause or different reasons. Ang major cause is sa tetany kay ang hypocalcemia. Hypocalcemia, damay ang calcium. Bali, to diagnose this, there are two signs as what I have searched. Ang Bostic sign o ang process signs. Ang Bostic mula siyang N na dali. Tapos yung picture yung lips, tapos ang process naman is dali sa cup. Tapos i-hold na siya in 3 minutes, tapos to see the reaction sa inyong hand. Then, upon mentioning sa hypocalcemia, di ba na siya opposite, hyper. Sa hyper, muna siyang excess use of calcium, hypercalcemia, meaning like taas ang absorption sa calcium. In systemic effect, it is can be categorized into kidney stones, bones, abdominal bones, and psychotic or siphonic growths.
Good day everyone, good day Miss. Now I'm going to report the magnesium. So magnesium is it's about 50% of magnesium in our body is present in the bones in combination with phosphorate. So magnesium is like a mineral that our body needs to stay healthy. Even though ang ato ang body kay need lang og small amount, pero it is very important gihapon because it helps our muscles, nerves, bones, and our body to work properly. So next is the distribution of magnesium. So distribution means magnesium is located inside sa ato ang body. And like sa kung giingon ka ganina about 50% of magnesium in our body is found in our bones within our phosphate. So why it is naa sa ato ang bone, why it is in our bone. So because ang magnesium kay nagatabang ni siya makip ato ang bones na strong and healthy. Like for example na lang imagine ang ato ang bones kay mura na siya og wall sa ato ang house. While ang calcium kay mao na siya ang semento, while ang phosphorus kay mao na siya ang kanang hollow block. So ang magnesium kay mao na siya ang work. So ang magnesium kay mao na siya ang naga-work para ma-help ug ma-keep everything strong sa ato ang bones. Kay without magnesium, the bones become weaker. Mura na gog kanang example nako karon kung walay worker, di na siya ma-strong kay wala may mo work, wala may mo himo, mo run smoothly sa ato ang body. Now, next is the B1. B1, it helps to produce and transfer energy. Because our body kay need man jud siya energy, and ang magnesium ano siya ang nagatabang sa enzyme to make energy from the food na ato ang gikaon. And without ang magnesium, ang atong body kay murag maka-feel og kapoy na dali ra kay ta maka-feel og kapoy. Like for example, ang sa ato ang kunwari ang atong body kay murag cellphone, di ba if mas ato ang food kay charger, di ba if dili na to i-charge ang ato ang phone kay murag malobat siya og ma-drain, mao na sa ato ang body. Pag dili Now, next is the B5. B5, it helps our nerve and muscles to allow our muscles to move and relax properly. Kaya kung kulang man og magnesium ang ato ang body, pwede ta magka-cramps or muscle twitching. Like for example, ana na lang mag-wave ta sa ato ang hands. Ang magnesium ana ka nag-help sa ato ang brain og muscles na mag-work together. Next is the B6. B6, it may also increase the stability of calcium in the tooth enamel. So, it helps our teeth stronger. Ang enamel, kaya dili na siya sulod sa ato ang teeth. Dili asa, tagani dili ka ng drib if kanang pagtungao na siya. Magkita na sulod sa ato ang teeth. Mag-provide ako picture later. Next is the food sources. So, food sources, the food sources are the nuts, soybeans, meat, milk, cocoa, seafoods, whole grains, dried beans, peas, and green plants. So, ang kani siya kay makakita ta og sodium sa soy sauce, canned foods, og processed foods, og carrots. Pero dili dapat ni siya pasobraan kay mahimo ni siyang dili maayo sa atong lawas, like dili ta magpalabi og mga processed foods, like kanang kanang neutral ra gihapon, tama lang, dili na to pasobrahan kay pwede na siya magkakas og kanang basta dili na siya maayo sa ato ang lawas. So next is the potassium. So potassium is the So now I'm going to report the sodium. So what is sodium? So sodium is mao na siya ang kanang naay fluid outside the cell, like the blood in our arteries, veins, and capillaries. Mao ni ang mineral nga importante para mabalance ang tubig sa ato ang lawas. So here are the functions of the sodium. First is the main fluid balance. So main fluid balance kay mao ni siya ang nagatabang og control sa amount sa water sa ato ang body para ma-keep og kanang mabalance ang fluid sa ato ang cells. So it will balance of fluid sa ato ang cells so can work properly. Kay kung kulang man ang sodium or ang sobrang sodium, mahimo ni siyang kung kulang ang sodium kay ma-dehydrate siya, pero if sobra pod mamaga pod ang lawas mo nang need na to balance. Like tama lang. Next function of sodium is maintain the acid-base balance, which is mao siyang nagatabang sa body sa pH level normal, ug mao ni siya, and this is important to so our organs and cell can function well, and also maka-help pud ni siya para mahimo kanagong dili mahimong sobra ka-acidic ang ato ang body. The third function of sodium, which is helps the muscles and nutrients work properly in our body. So sodium helps glucose and other nutrients enter the cell. This means it helps the muscles and nerves nga mag-send og signal, so makalihok ta og tarong, makalakaw ta og kanang makabuhata sa ato ang gusto. The food sources of sodium. The common food rich in sodium it is the carrots, spinach, celery, peas, fish sauce, and catsup, and also processed foods like tocino. So, next is the recommend dietary allowance. So, allowances and requirements for sodium have not been determined, but the amount should equal that of the body's needs for growth. So, walay exact nga recommended amount para sa tanan, pero kinahanglan lang kanagong ginaigo ang sodium base sa kinahanglanon sa ato ang lawas para normal lang sa pagtubo o pagfunction. Dili po dapat sobra like kanang normal lang. Next is effects of deficiency or excess. First is effects of deficiency. So a deficiency of sodium or hyponatremia can occur the dehydration as in heat exhaustion, especially following an intake of large amount of H2O. So lack of sodium or hyponatremia kay mahitabo ni siya kung kulang ang sodium tungod sa dehydration or sa sobrang nga pag-inom sa tubig human sa pagkagrabe nga pagkasingot, og also mahimo ni siyang pagkakapoy o pagka muscle cramps. Patient present within the cell or in the intracellular fluids about 2.6 gram or kilogram fat free weight is potassium, 0.35% of body weight, and it also represents in a relatively small amount in the intracellular fluid. So where is the potassium found? So potassium so that a deficiency is usually unlikely in a healthy person. So a healthy person should get around 2 to 6 grams of potassium every day through food. Kung healthy ang imuhang diet, hindi kayo makulangan sa potassium. Next is the effect of deficiency or excess or hypokalemia. So next, effect of deficiency. So effect of deficiency is result when there is a prolonged wasting disease with tissue destruction or malnutrition. So ang hypokalemia kay mao na siya ang low serum potassium sa ato ang blood. And mahitabo ni siya because of diarrhea, vomiting, and poor nutrition or disease na nagakause atong body para malus og potassium. Kay kung kulang man ta og potassium, dili na to mahimong makafeel ka og ganang weaknesses sa imong muscle or sa imong body niya. Dali ra pud kaayo ka makapoy and ma-confuse pud ka on usahay bloated ang imong tiyan. Imagine kay ang flashlight kay na ay weak battery, di ba? If na ay weak battery kay murag ang light kay murag magamay-gamay na siya. It's same sa ato ang muscle nga pud siya kanang without enough potassium kay murag ma-weak pud o dili ka siya ma-work properly. Okay? Next is the effect of excess, which is the hyperkalemia or means too much potassium sa ato ang blood. So the effects of too much potassium or hyperkalemia is next is the effects of excess, which is ang hyperkalemia. So ang hyperkalemia ay it means ang too much potassium sa ato ang blood, and this is usually happens when the kidneys cannot remove extra potassium from our body, and sobrang potassium mahimo and sobrang then if masubrahan ang potassium kay murag maka-apekto siya sa ato ang heartbeat, breathing, o mahimo ni siyang makapamanhid sa ato ang kamot o tiil, like manghina na ta o hinay-hinay.
Good day everyone, this is the information about the part of major minerals. We have here phosphorus, sulfur, and urine. So here are the distribution of phosphorus. Phosphorus is a major mineral of the body because mauni siya ang nagahatag sa atua para ma-strong ang ato ang bones, teeth, and then nagaproduce pa ni siya energy and support healthy muscles, nerve, and cellular body. So phosphorus distributed 85% in the bone and teeth, while the 14% inside the body cell and the soft tissues, and the 1% in the blood and other body fluids. So here are the function of phosphorus. Phosphorus build and maintain strong bones and teeth, and it helps to maintain a normal acid-based balance into our body. So here are the food source of phosphorus. So the first is cheese, milk, dairy products, meat, poultry, egg, dried beans. So the low of phosphorus level cause is the low appetite, weak bones, and the muscle weakness. So sulfur, ang sulfur guys is mao ni siya ang ika-6 na major of mineral. So the distribution of sulfur is found in almost every cell of our body and make up about 0.25 of our body weight. Most sulfur is found inside the cell, especially in the hair, skin, and nails. So the function of sulfur is to maintain protein structure, helps protein keep their proper shapes and strength. And the active enzyme, it helps enzyme work properly so the body can perform important chemical reactions. And the third is help detoxify the body. It helps change harmful substance into safer form so they can be removed through the urine. So here are the food sources of sulfur. The first one is meat, and fish, eggs, milk, and beans, and legumes. And if naga-eat daw ta og enough na protein every day, you usually get enough sulfur. The effects of deficiency of excess, a rare inherited condition called centrinuria, causes of body to lose too much cysteine in the urine. This can lead to the formation of kidney stones. So
So guys, mao ni siya ang last part or last sa major of minerals, ang chlorine. Distribution of chlorine is the main negatively charged mineral found in the extracellular fluid, which is the fluid outside the body's cells. The normal chloride level in the blood is 95 to 105 liter or milliequivalent. It is also found in the stomach as hydrofolic acid or HCl and in the small amount inside the cell. So the function of chlorine is naga-balance siya sa tubig o electrolyte sa ato ang lawas. Then, second is nagatabang pud sa pag-maintain sa tama nga pH acid-based balance sa ato ang lawas. And the last is to form hydrofolic acid or HCl in the stomach which help digest food. And ang food source sa chlorine, the main source of chlorine is tablet salt, sodium chloride or NaCl. Makita na to ang chlorine kay sa mga processed foods. So like potato chips, instant noodles, canned soap, hot dog, ham, bacon, sausage, and corned beef. So effects and deficiency of chlorine is if lack of chlorine may lead to alkalosis, a condition where the body's pH become too high. This can happen after prolonged vomiting, diarrhea, or gastric tube drainage, which cause excessive loss of chloride.
What is trace minerals? Trace minerals are essential nutrients that our body needs in small amount lamang, in about less than 100 milligrams. This helps our body function properly, helps our oxygen transport and immune support and enzyme regulation. The common sources of minerals are including iron, copper, zinc, iodine, selenium. So iron. The body contains about 75 milligrams of fat-free body weight of iron. This is about 3 to 5 grams. The amount varies with age, sex, nutrition, general health, and size of iron stores of this amount, meaning that most of us has 75 milligrams of trace minerals in our body, but this varies with our age, our sex, and our nutritional general health. So 60 to 75% is present as part of the hemoglobin and 5% as myoglobin. The muscle hemoglobin is about 26% and is found in the liver, spleen, and bone marrow. So hemoglobin is most of your iron, and its job is to carry oxygen from your lungs to every single part of your body. Without this iron, your blood can't carry oxygen and you'd feel very tired and very weak. So for example is when your tissues needs oxygen. This is where hemoglobin goes. So naga-provide ang hemoglobin sa imong tissues og air or oxygen. So looking at this picture, we have the hemoglobin and the red blood cells. So where do we find the hemoglobin? The hemoglobin is inside of the red blood cells. Also, looking at the picture further, we can also see the one pointing over here that says hemi. So what is the hemi? So hemi, a hemoglobin has 4 hemogroups, each with an atom. Each atom can catch pre-oxygen molecules, meaning that a single red blood cells can carry millions of oxygen molecules to your body. Also, iron is the core building blocks of hemoglobin. Without iron, hemoglobin cannot exist, and red blood cells cannot deliver oxygen. The causes of effects of this is fatigue, anemia, and low in deficiency. Next is we have myoglobin. So what is myoglobin? Think of myoglobin as like a tiny oxygen tank pero sa muscles mo lang. Your myoglobin helps stores oxygen inside of your muscles and helps you when you move, when you walk, or when you run. It does the same job as hemoglobin pero it's for muscles only. That's why it's called muscle hemoglobin. Because it does the same job again as hemoglobin but sa imuhang muscles ra. So as you can see this photo, we have the myoglobin. The myoglobin has a special part called the hime group with one iron atom right in the center, the blue ring over there as you can see. The iron absorbs most light colors and reflects red light. This is what gives the red, meaty, beefy color. When it binds oxygen from air, it turns bright cherry red. And then pag walang oxygen, it turns very purplish red, and then if it changes too much, then it turns kind of brown or a little bit darker. Then beef is extra red because it has more myoglobin than pork or chicken. And remember, this color changes came from myoglobin and muscles, hindi sa it came from myoglobin and muscles and not from the leftover blood. So lastly is the 26%. This is where your backup supplies is stored in 3 days, which is yung liver mo, yung spleen, and then yung bone marrow. So think of it like a bank account. So for example, your body isn't getting enough nutrients these past days. So your body uses this stored up iron to replace those nutrients para hindi ka magkasakit ng madali. Also, bone marrow is included because that's where new blood cells are made. So, ang bone marrow daw is the factory where all red blood cells are being made. To build every new red blood cell, you must have iron to make its hemoglobin. So your body keeps 26% of its total iron stored right here in bone marrow, ready to use instantly whenever new red blood cells need to be produced. It also stores extra iron in the liver and spleen as a backup, but backup bone marrow gets priority access because it needs iron non-stop. So ang iron isn't just for blood, it's a key part of many enzymes. Special proteins that makes all your body's chemical reactions happen. It also helps with making energy. It powers the respiratory chain, the process that turns food into energy every cell uses. The healing and structure helps makes collagen, the stuff that holds your skin, bones, and tissue together. And also the fighting infection. This helps your body make the antibodies. These are the soldiers that helps kill bacteria, germs in your body. Next is we have the types of iron. Hime iron is only found in meat, fish, and poultry and is more efficiently absorbed by the body, while the non-hime iron comes from other iron-containing foods like cereals, vegetables, and eggs. So here's an example of the foods of the non-iron and the hime iron sources. So just keep in mind that the non-hime iron sources are plant-based while the hime iron sources are animal-based. First, how your body matches iron intake to what it needs. So your body uses a protein called the transferrin. Think of it like a iron delivery truck to automatically adjust how much iron it absorbs. When most transferrin trucks are already full of iron, your body knows it has enough, so it absorbs less iron from the food. When the transferrin trucks are empty, this signals your iron levels are low, so your body absorbs more iron to refill what's missing. And if you have higher iron needs, like during growth spurts, pregnancies, breastfeedings, or if you already have low iron like anemia, your body will absorb even more iron than someone with normal healthy hemoglobin levels. Next is bulk in diet. Bulk here just means fiber, the top fibrous part in plant foods. When you eat lots of fiber at the same time as iron-rich foods like mga spinach or malunggay, the fiber acts like a barrier. It stops your gut from grabbing and absorbing that iron easily, and that's why plant-based iron is harder for us to use even if the food itself has a lot of iron in it. So coffee has a compound called tannins that blocks your gut from taking in iron. So it's best to wait an hour or two after meals before drinking coffee. Now let's talk about ascorbic acid or vitamin C, and now it helps your body use iron. Even a small amount like 40 to 50 milligrams added to a simple meal like bread or scrambled eggs, grilled eggs, it can make a huge difference. It boosts iron absorption nearly 3 times over. So from only 3.7, it can go all the way up to 10.4%. And here's the best part. You can even drink tea or coffee with your meal as well. This means adding just a little bit of vitamin C rich foods like calamansi, tomatoes, or any kinds of fruits helps your body gets more iron from every meal you eat. Next is effects of deficiency. Not getting enough iron leads to iron deficiency anemia. This means your red blood cells get smaller, fewer in number, or have less hemoglobin, or both. The end results, your blood loses its ability to carry enough oxygen to every part of your body, which makes you very weak or feel weak, and mabilis ka lang maging out of breath easily. So, people who has anemia or people who has low iron, they often get really tired easily and out of breath, especially just when doing simple tasks like moving items in a room to a room, or walking for 5 minutes. The two main reasons this happens is, one is not getting enough iron in your diet. This is when you're not eating enough iron-rich foods, or when you cook food and it destroys the iron inside of it. Then next is we have the losing too much iron from your body. This is called the hemographic anemia. Iron leaves your body along with blood, thus can harm monthly periods, pregnancies, and having intentional worms or frequent blood donation. So here's a table that's recommended for iron intakes for specific population groups. Now let's talk about the different iron needs for different group of people. So for babies, the iron from the breast milk and the iron from their body is enough for them for 6 months lang. So when they're formulated na, they need iron formulated milk just for their needs. While for the pregnant and the post-pregnant people, both need extra iron just to build up extra iron for later use. And then next is for a woman who is non-pregnant and non-menstruating. They only need 10 milligrams per day. It's just enough for a regular body use. While menstruating women need 27 milligrams per day. This is to replace monthly blood loss and save extra iron for future needs. While breastfeeding women needs about 13 milligrams per day. While we often worry about not getting enough iron, getting too much iron is also very dangerous. It usually happens from taking extra iron supplements without guidance, cooking in iron pots, needing many blood transfusions, or having a generic condition called the hemochromatosis. This excess iron builds up in organs like your liver and your heart that can damage them over time. So first, let's talk about where copper is found in our bodies. Even though we only need tiny amounts of copper, it is presented in every single tissue, from our muscles to our skin, because it helps keep our cells working well. But our body stores the largest amounts in 4 key organs. This is the liver, the brain, the heart, and the kidneys. That's because these organs rely on copper the most to carry out their most critical jobs. Now, what does copper actually do? It's best known as iron's best helper. First, it's absolutely needed in making hemoglobin, and it also helps our gut absorbs iron. Then it moves around the body to where it's needed. It also powers all the tiny chemical reactions that keeps our cells alive and working. It protects our nerves by keeping the other outer covering strong. It helps makes our melanin that helps our skin, our hair, its natural color. And finally, it plays a big part in building strong, healthy bones. Lastly, what kinds of foods do we get copper? So the richest sources are organ meats like liver, shellfish, especially mga oysters, nuts, cocoa, cherries, mushrooms, and whole grains. We also get moderate amounts from everyday foods like mga leafy greens, eggs, beans, and peas. So eating a balanced diet easily gives us all the copper that we need. What are the effects of copper deficiency? So since copper makes pigment, our natural hair color and our skin will lose its natural color. It can also cause issues with our brain and nerves and make our muscles feel very weak and lead to lower than normal body temperature. So mabugnaw ta. Even though you eat enough iron, low copper causes a type of anemia where your red blood cells becomes too small. For infants, growing children, not enough copper also stops their bones from growing strong, and heart properly. Too much copper in the body is rare alone. The main condition is linked to excess copper is Wilson disease. This is a genetic disorder where your body loses the ability to get rid of extra copper. Over time, copper builds up to harmful levels in organs like your liver and your brain, which causes serious health problems.
Iodine distribution. Adult body normally contains 20 to 30 milligrams of iodine. About 70% to 80% or about 8 milligram is concentrated in the thyroid gland. So, our body contains about 20 to 30 milligrams of iodine. And around 70% to 80% of it is stored in the thyroid gland, which is found in the front of the neck. The thyroid gland keeps iodine because it uses it to make important hormones. So, ang iodine kay naa siya sa atong lawas, mga 20 to 30 milligrams and around 70% to 80% ani is naa siya sa thyroid gland. And makita ang thyroid gland atubangan sa ato ang liog didto siya gi-store kay kinahanglan sa thyroid para makahimo og hormones or para makaproduce og hormones. So, functions. Iodine is needed for the production of thyroid hormone. It is an element required for the synthesis of thyroxine. So, ang iodine is important siya to make thyroid hormones, especially thyroxine or the T4. This hormone helps to control the metabolism, growth, and body temperature ug ang energy sa ato ang body. So, if kulang ka og iodine is dili makaproduce og enough hormones ang thyroid gland o dili makaproduce og thyroid hormones or enough thyroid hormones ang thyroid gland. So, mao ni siya ang magresult sa goiter or thyroid enlargement. Food sources. We have the seafoods, seaweeds, and iodized salt. So, sa seafoods are rich in iodine. For example, isda, hipon, and shellfish. So, these are a good source of iodine. Next is seaweeds. Seaweeds contain a lot of iodine. Bisan gamay ra daw ang imuhang makaon nga seaweed is magproduce na daw siya og daghan nga iodine. Next is iodized salt. Iodized salt has added iodine, so mao ni siya ang pinaka-common source sa iodine. Kaya every time na nagakaon ta, ang ato ang ginakaon or ginatake na food is nag-contain na siya og salt. So that's why ginatawag siya nga common siya nga source sa iodine. Next is effects of deficiency. D1 is the goiter. The goiter is an enlarged thyroid gland. So, mudako ang thyroid gland tungod kay kulang siya og iodine or kulang ang usa ka tao og iodine. That is why mudako ang iyahang thyroid gland. Next is cretinism. Cretinism is affects the babies. So, mahitabo ni siya during sa pregnancy sa mother, which cause delay ang growth sa baby and ang brain development. D3 is mixed edema. Mixed edema is a severe hypothyroidism which mag-result ni siya o kanang dali lang kapuyon ang sa katao and kanang ma-feel niya nga maka-feel siya og kanang bugnaw, then mag-swell ang iyahang face. So da ni mo siya ma-identify nga naay mixed edema ang isa ka tao. Next is the manganese. So manganese distribution, only about 10 to 20 manganese is present. So the body has only 10 to 20 milligrams of manganese. And manganese is found in very small amounts in our body, but even a small amount is important because it helps many body processes work properly. Functions. D1, activator of a number of metabolic reactions. So manganese helps the body convert food into energy. So ang manganese is siya ang mag-help nga i-convert ang pagkaon or ang atong ginakaon dito sa energy. Kay di ba if kanang dili ta magkaon kay murag maluya ta, then kanang makafeel ta og gutom, then wala tay gana mulihok if kanang wala tay ginatake nga food. So, ang manganese is siya ang nag-convert sa food into energy. It supports normal metabolism. Next is acts as a catalyst for a number of enzymes. So manganese helps enzymes work faster. Enzymes are proteins that help important body processes like digestion, growth, and healing. So ang manganese is siya ang nagatabang para siya ang nagapalihok or siya ang murag-way-god sa mga enzymes para dali mahitabo ang mga important process. For example, sa digestion, so ang enzymes ang nagtabang manganese ang nagtabang sa enzymes para makadigest ang tao. Next is increased storage thiamine or the vitamin B1. So manganese helps the body store vitamin B1 which is needed for energy production and proper nerve function. So ang manganese pod is nagahelp siya sa vitamin B1 para na ay energy o kanang okay ang function or ang dagan sa ato ang or ang kanang movement sa ato ang mga nerves sa ato ang body. Next is the food sources is nuts, whole grains, cereals, tea, green leaves, vegetables, dried fruits, and kanang beans. So these foods are good sources of manganese, and eating balanced diet helps you get enough manganese for good health. Effect of deficiency or excess. No incidence of manganese deficiency or toxicity observed. So far is wala pa daw manganese deficiency ang na-observe. Pero if it happens, it may affect growth, bones, and wound healing. So if kulang ang isa ka tao og manganese is hinay ang ihang growth o kanang ang ihang mga bones is kanang dili siya strong and dugay pod maayo ang ihang mga samad if naa. Cobalt distribution. Cobalt is found only in trace amount in the body. So the body contains only a very small amount of cobalt. Most cobalt is found as part of vitamin B12 which is stored mainly in the person's liver. Function. Cobalt is a constituent of vitamin B12. So it helps make red blood cells. Cobalt helps to produce healthy red blood cells. Next is necessary for RBC formation, supports the nervous system, and it helps keep the brain and nerve work properly. Then the B3 is essential for the normal functioning of all cells, and it helps the body use vitamin B12, and cobalt is needed because it is part of vitamin B12 which help in growth and cell production. So importante ang cobalt kay part siya sa vitamin B12 nga nag-help sa pag-grow o pag-produce og mga new cells sa ato ang body. Next is food sources, liver, oyster, clams, lean beef, salt water, and fish milk. So, these foods contain vitamin B12 and provide cobalt to the body. So, requirements. Cobalt is restricted to the body's need for vitamin B12. Effects of deficiency or excess. Deficiency or pernicious anemia. So anemia is the body does not make enough healthy red blood cells. So, mahitabo ang anemia tungod kay kulang og red blood cells or RBC ang isa ka tao. Then, excess polycythemia or increase in the number of RBC and hyperplasia of bone marrow. So, weakness and tiredness or ang tao is makafeel siya og weakness and dali ra siya kanang kapuyon. Then, numbness or tingling, or the hands and feet may feel numb and because of nerve problems. So, maka-feel ang tao o kanang murag kanang nabinhod gud iyang mga kamot o iyang mga tiil tungod kay naa siya problem sa nerve. Cobalt is an important trace mineral because it is part of vitamin B12 and it makes red blood cells, keeps the nervous system healthy, and supports normal body functions. So we have the zinc. For the distribution, the body contains about 2 to 5 grams of zinc. The blood concentration of zinc is 700 to 800 milligram. So, 80% of which is present in the red blood cells and 4% in the white blood cells and platelets. The serum zinc is about 90 milligrams or 100 ml, and the human milk contains 3 to 4 milligram zinc per liter. So So the body contains about 2 to 5 grams of zinc and mostly in the blood. And its function is involved a wide range of cellular function being an integral part of metalloenzymes. So it helps many enzymes in the body work properly, and it helps make RNA, and it supports hormones like insulin and growth hormones. Next is present in the RNA. Next is B3. It is related to the hormone insulin glucagons, ACTH growth hormone, and the gonadotropin and testosterone, and it enhances wound healing and helps maintain a normal sense of taste. Next is the food sources: milk, meat, liver, oyster, eggs, nuts, whole grain cereals, wheat, and bran. So, these foods is kanang mauna siya ang mga food kung asa nakastore ang zinc. The effects of deficiency exist. D1, effects of deficiency is slow growth. So, hinay ang pagtubo sa tao. The next is alopecia or hair loss, kanang pagkalagas sa mga buhok. The next is disturbances in the keratination process in the skin and esophagus, hypospermia, delayed sexual maturation, white defects, and night blindness. And the D2 effects of excess is nausea, vomiting, abdominal cramps, diarrhea, and fever. So, molybdenum. Distribution. If only 9 mg of molybdenum is present in the body, it is important to health as the B vitamins and magnesium. So, only a small amount of molybdenum is found in the body, but it is important for our health. And for the function, present inbound as an integral part of the various enzyme molecules. 3 parts of this are the xanthine oxidase, aldehyde oxidase, and flavoprotein. So, it helps the enzymes break down nutrients and remove waste from the body. So, kini siya ang mag-help sa enzymes to process the nutrients and kanang para siya pod ang nagatanggal sa mga waste sa ato ang nanaa sa ato ang body. Next is food sources. We have dried peas, beans, lean meat, and poultry. So, diri ang makita ng molybdenum, diri ang mga food makitaan ang molybdenum sa dried peas, beans, lean meat, and poultry. Next is the requirements. So, the adults need about 50 to 500 mg per day, or and the effects of deficiency is headache, irritability, night blindness, lethargy, coma, and abnormal sulfur. So, these are trace minerals. The body only needs small amounts, but they are important for our good health.
So good day everyone. Today I will be reporting the other trace minerals. We will cover 4 important minerals, which are the fluorine, selenium, chromium, and vanadium. These are called trace minerals because we only need them in a very tiny amounts, but they are very essentials for our health. So first up is fluorine. Where is it found? So most fluorine stays in our bones and teeth, and they are only small amounts in the thyroid gland and the skin. So what it does, it hardens our tooth enamel to stop cavities, keeps our bones strong so we don't lose bone mass, and is also used to treat a bone disease called osteoporosis. So what is osteoporosis? Osteoporosis is the condition where bones become weak, thin, and brittle. So why it happens? So ano mahitabo man siya? Bones lose minerals like calcium faster than they can be replaced. Bone density drops, making holes inside the bone bigger. So unsay mahitabo if kulang kaog fluorine? So bones break very easily even from a small fall, cough, or bending over. Common fractures kay sa wrist, hip, og spine. Then can cause back pain, stoop posture, or getting short over time. The next one is how fluorine helps. So, nganong makatabang man ang fluorine? So, fluorine slows down bone loss, keep bones dense, and is used to help prevent or treat osteoporosis. So, this table shows how much fluorine we need each day. Babies need the least while adults need around 1.7 to 3.0 milligram daily. Pregnant and breastfeeding women need 2.5 milligram per day. So now let's talk about where we get fluorine and what happens if we get too little or too much fluorine. So our main source is fluoridated or natural drinking water. We also get good amounts from seafood and tea leaves. So small amounts are in fruits, vegetables, and cereals. We also use it in toothpaste and dental treatments for our teeth. So ang effects ani if you don't get enough fluorine, you will easily get tooth cavities. But too much is also bad. It can stain or damage your teeth called dental fluorosis. So dental fluorosis is a cosmetic condition caused by consuming too much fluoride while permanent teeth are still forming under the gums, typically before age 8. It ranges from faint white spots to brown stains and pitting. So older children and adults cannot develop it, and affected teeth are highly resistant to decay. So the next is selenium. So where it comes from, the amount of selenium in food depends on the soil quality, where the crops are grown, or where the animals graze. So what it does, it works hand in hand with vitamin E and is a key part of a powerful antioxidant that protects our cells and fats from damage. So, how much we need sa selenium? So, infants need 6 to 10 microgram. Ang children kay 18 to 22 microgram. Men is 21 to 36 microgram. Women is 21 to 40 microgram. And pregnant or breastfeeding moms needs 35 to 40 microgram daily. So, ang sources and deficiencies sa selenium is we get selenium from organ meats, muscle meats, cereals, and dairy. If you lack selenium, you may feel muscle pain, damage your pancreas, or get a type of anemia called hemolytic anemia. So, nganong madamage man ang ato ang pancreas? Kaya ang selenium, nagamake siya og antioxidant enzyme called glutathione peroxidase. This is the pancreas main shield and against damage. So, if wala ang selenium, dili siya makamake og enzyme nga ato ang ginatawag og glutathione peroxidase. Tapos kaning glutathione peroxidase is mauni siya ang main shield against sa damage. And if magkakulang ka og selenium, magka-anemia ka called hemolytic anemia. So, hemolytic anemia is a type of anemia where your red blood cells break apart and die too fast, much earlier than their normal 120-day lifespan. So, selenium makes the shield enzyme that protects these cells from harmful chemicals called free radicals. No selenium, no shield. Cells get damaged, swell, and burst open early. For example, think about your red blood cells. Your red blood cells is like balloons. Selenium keeps the rubber strong. Without it, they pop. So, if you don't have enough cells to carry oxygen. So, last, let's talk about chromium and vanadium. So, chromium is our whole body only has 6 to 10 milligrams of chromium in total. So, it helps our body use blood sugar properly and helps make healthy fats and cholesterol. So, we get it from whole grains, clams, corn oil, meat, and vegetables. So, adults need 50 to 200 microgram every day. So, if you are lack of chromium, kay ang imong body is struggles to use sugar properly. Blood sugar stays too high after eating. Then, makafeel ka og tired, hungry, or mag-crave ka og sweets often. Then, higher risk of insulin resistance or type 2 diabetes. May also lower your good cholesterol and raise the bad cholesterol. In a simple way, chromium is like a key or the key. So, that opens cells to let sugar in. So, no key, ang sugar pod kay magstays or magstuck in your blood instead of giving you energy. So, if too much ang chromium pod kay form in food supplements is low toxic, but way too much causes. So, ang cause ana niya is magka-stomach issues ka, nausea, vomiting, stomach pain, o diarrhea. So, ang kidney and liver stress, mag-harder mag-filter sa imong waste, may damage your organs. Blood sugar swings can drop too low if taken with diabetes medicine. So, ang long-term is headache, dizziness, weaker immunity. In a simple way, too much chromium irritates your gut and overworks your kidney and liver. So, ang vanadium naman it is found in all our body tissues. Its main job is to help form strong tooth enamel. So, it is also protect us from cavities. So, we only need 0.1 to 0.3 milligram per day. So, lack of vanadium ang effect is weaker tooth enamel, easier to get cavities or decay, may affect how bones grow and stay strong, no clear severe sickness link, but teeth and bones are less protected. In a simple way, vanadium helps build hard enamel for teeth. Not enough vanadium, kaya ang teeth become soft and get holes easily. So, too much vanadium can cause stomach problems, nausea, loose stools, belly cramps, metallic taste in mouth. So, kidney and nerve effects may hurt kidneys or cause tiredness, tremors at very high doses. So, tooth bones issues can mess with normal bone growth and mineral balance. So, in a simple way, too much vanadium upsets your stomach first and can harm your kidneys if way too high. Quicker reminder lang pod is we only need 50 to 200 microgram chromium and 0.03 milligram of vanadium per day. Just tiny amounts and more is not better. So to sum up, ang fluorine keeps our teeth and bones strong. Ang selenium protects our cells. Ang chromium helps control our blood sugar. And ang vanadium supports healthy teeth. All of these are needed in small amounts but they are very important for us. That ends my report. Thank you for listening.